That's a big fish.
Fish on!
It's a big fish.
Nothing fights like a smallmouth. Wait until you see how and where we were catching them.
Hit like a truck.
Here we go, hooked up. Plus, saltwater stocking. We'll go on the hunt for a Chesapeake Bay marauder. And an act of love.
Then we put the cap on it, and Logan is over here capping them.
Gonna take a closer look at how your deer harvest can help a family out of hunger.
We're going to give somebody that's struggling with hunger or facing food insecurity an entire meal in a can.
That's a pretty fish right there, Krista.
Know what a silverhead is? You're fixing to find out when we take an outdoors-bound road trip. All that and more, straight ahead.
Beautiful buck.
How y'all doing, folks? I'm George Noleff. This is Outdoors Bound. We're coming to you from the beautiful fireplace here at Parkway Brewing in Salem, Virginia. Got a lot of hunting, fishing, hiking, everything outdoors to talk about. One of my favorite things to do, fish for smallmouth bass. Pound for pound, not going to find a better fighter. And if you get them on the fly, even better.
I've heard it said that fly fishing is like ballet. There's a rhythmic beauty to it as the line and fly glide over the water. It's a delicate balance of grace and art and motion. But depending on who your dance partner is, it can turn to chaos in a heartbeat. Bronze backs on the fly on the New River. There's nothing like it. The zen of the cast, the explosiveness of the strike, the adrenaline rush of the fight on a limber fly rod. And then, once again, the solitude of the stream. On this day, I was with the folks from New River Fly Fishing, going after pre-spawn smallmouth and getting the full New River experience.
There's one up on the bank right there.
Mike Smith and Stephen Howard fished the New for a variety of species, but pre-spawn is the time to target giants.
You can't beat it this time of year. The weather's perfect, the water's great, and the big fish are active, so it's one of our favorite times to fish.
We're targeting pre-spawn fish, so we're looking for boulders in about 4 or 5 foot of water. We want it to be pretty slow moving where the fish can just kind of lay up and warm up and feed pretty easily.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
And the New, well, it's a gem. One of the best big smallmouth waters anywhere.
Hit like a truck.
All right, let's get them in the water. So, yeah, she's up here in pre-spawn water that we like to target. Slow water, lots of big boulders around. Fishing a suspended fly like the Game Changer.
And for guys like Mike and Steve, the dance, that ballet, never gets old.
The folks at New River Fly run those smallmouth trips spring, summer, fall. They also run muskie trips, walleye trips, striped bass trips. The New River, a gem of a fishery. You really got to try it out. From freshwater to saltwater. You ever fish for cobia? Well, if you haven't, you are missing out. They are big, they are tasty, and the best place to fish for them in the summertime, the southern reaches of the Chesapeake Bay.
Here we go, hooked up. Before you can get to that, the equivalent of a torpedo in fish form, you have to go through a bit of this.
Another non-biter. Behind it and didn't bite it.
He bit the eel, but he was a little small.
The target species is cobia, a top-line predator, and maybe the best place to catch them in the summer is Virginia's lower Chesapeake Bay. Fishing for them? Well, it's a lot like stalking big game.
You're looking for, life, you're fishing edges of contours and stuff like that. These fish are very nomadic, much like, the reds as well in the summertime. So there's a lot of movement and trial and error, and you're just process of elimination as your day goes on. You're sliding around trying to find them.
I saw him chase it though.
Oh yeah, he was walking it.
Captain Tyler Nunn is a fishing guide with Tidewater Charters out of Cape Charles. He spends hours on the water, up high in the tower of his boat, scoping out the horizon.
Yes, sir. We're looking for cobia.
That's because cobia often come to the surface, and when they do, if you can get a bait in front of them, like a live eel, well, it can be game on.
Oh, there's one right there. Cobia fishing is a lot of fun. You can catch them in a variety of ways, and they're a great sport fish.
Come on. Oh, he ain't happy.
Cobia are going to stay in Virginia waters for a few more months, so you still have a chance to get in on this action. One other thing, they are delicious, but on this day, we were catching but not keeping. It's all part of conserving the resource while enjoying the experience.
Look, there he goes. They're definitely good to eat. That's undeniable. But you know, they're worth a lot more in the water than they are, you know, in a cooler.
The window on that southern Chesapeake Bay fishery cobia, pretty narrow, June to August, June to September, but it's well worth it. Probably best bet to book now, because those trips, they book up quick.
I love it. That's why we're here.
Hunters to the rescue, how they are turning what they harvest into a bridge out of poverty for some families.
They're proud of it, and it doesn't really matter. As long as it's a trophy to them, I treat them the same way.
And some say it's a lost art. We'll show you the way one man is preserving trophies and a way of life.
That's very pretty fish.
Plus, who goes to the beach in winter? The answer is you if you want to catch fish. Keep it right here for more Outdoors Bound.
There's a group called Hunters for the Hungry, and they are doing some fantastic work getting food to people who need it. Now, they collect deer donated by hunters as well as cash donations. They turn that into meals for the hungry. That meat, venison, goes to soup kitchens and rescue missions and other groups helping to feed the hungry. Last year, they tried something new to stretch that resource a little further.
That is the sound of love. So's that. And so is that. And it all starts with this.
I love it. That's why we're here.
So what is this labor of love? Well, it's turning deer donated by hunters into meals for families who need a little help.
To see these people that just have a passion for taking care of helping other people and all the efforts they put into it is just phenomenal. And we know that ultimately we're going to give somebody that's struggling with hunger or facing food insecurity an entire meal in a can.
Those bay leaves are in that one.
The bay leaves are in there.
Gary Arrington leads Hunters for the Hungry, or H4H, in the Blue Ridge region.
The biggest thing we tell people, we need deer, we need dollars.
And it's his good work with the help of government and other groups that turns those deer and dollars into a bridge out of poverty for families.
Yes, sir. It's a blessing to be partnered with this group.
That's the intent, really, is to feed the families, take care of the people in Bedford County with resources from Bedford County.
What do you think we got here, roughly? Out of your 12, we had 12 or 1,300 when we started.
You probably got 1,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds?
Usually H4H collects deer from hunters and has them processed and then sends the meat to food pantries. But this time, something different. Love in a can.
And then we put the cap on it, and Logan is over here capping them.
Donated deer are being turned into cans of venison stew. Families fighting their way out of poverty have kids to take care of and jobs to work. Having dinner that can just be heated up and served, well, that can be a blessing of food and precious time.
All the people have to do is open the can and heat it up instead of having to spend a lot of time preparing, which someone may or may not be able to do.
So for 2 days, volunteers chopped and ladled and canned, thanks to the Bedford County Cooperative Extension Service and the New London Cannery.
Broth?
2 scoops of stew and then topping it off with the broth.
This is a critical point of the stew processing.
And they turned all of that into
About 1,100 cans, yep. Somewhere around there. That's just phenomenal.
1,100 meals for hungry families in need, 1,100 cans of love.
This all started with a conversation between myself and Gary about venison and the ability to can it.
One of the hardest things that feeding programs tell us that they need
It's essential for small children, for brain development, for the elderly to maintain healthy bone structures. Is high protein, low fat red meat. And so this is a God-given, renewable, natural resource that provides that without any additives.
People helping people, and you can help Hunters for the Hungry too by donating a deer or making a cash donation. Just go to their website. I've got it there at the bottom of the screen.
Sometimes you just gotta let it sit there a little bit, and then you can go back and finish him up.
Now, if you do harvest a deer, you may want to turn it into a trophy mount, you know, get the head up on the wall. To do that, you're going to need the services of a taxidermist. Now, taxidermy is almost a lost art, but I talked to a guy recently who's keeping that art alive.
You just have to find where the horns, where you made your Y cut in the back of the neck.
Lee Looney practices a craft that dates back thousands of years. It's an art form.
My first look is at the eyes, and then usually my second look is at the stitching.
That takes skill.
When they take a deer or something, they're proud of it, and it doesn't really matter. As long as it's a trophy to them, I treat them the same way and try to get them to look the same.
Patience.
It takes what it takes a lot of times.
Attention to detail.
You want every detail you can put in them. The more you put in them, the better your work will look.
A keen eye for nature.
When you're talking about a deer, they're all different. Every one of them's got a different color.
And every year, fewer and fewer people practice this ancient art of taxidermy.
I believe it's becoming a lost art. I am the only one that I know of that has a license here in Craig. Put some more glue down in this jawline.
Taxidermy is a way to preserve memories, hunting and fishing adventures frozen in time. Looney, a hunter and fisherman himself, loves the craft because he loves the outdoors.
I want to preserve the way he looked when whoever killed it, and respect the fact that, you know, he was alive at one time.
Hours can be long. Doing a head mount on just a single deer can take days. The animals are skinned, fleshed, and tanned, and then placed on a styrofoam mount.
Then I had to come back out here Wednesday morning and adjust his eyes and comb down any hair and work on him a little bit. And then I come back out here before church yesterday evening and worked on him a little bit and checked his eyes and stuff. And then first thing this morning, same thing. And I'll have to do that again this evening and in the morning. I go back and put these in right here just to keep that shoulder tucked.
Looney, a pastor in Newcastle, has been a taxidermist for more than a decade. He learned from the late Ed Schaefer, well known in Craig County hunting and taxidermy circles. And he says he learned to be painstaking in his approach, but he says those lessons have served him well, as he keeps alive an art form almost lost in recent years.
I love the finished product. I love, especially kids, but I love the joy it gives people when they pick it back up. I love to hear them say, "Man, that looks nice."
That does look nice. Now, Lee Looney works out of Craig County, Virginia. He's got a few tips if you want to get that deer or other game mounted.
First, if you're caping your deer out, make sure you cut the cape long enough to give the taxidermist enough hide to work with. Also, get it to a taxidermist as quick as possible and never drag an animal backward with its head on the ground.
All right, so we go from the warmth of the fireplace out to here, winter weather. But just because winter sets in doesn't mean you can't fish. I'm going to tell you about one winter fishery I absolutely love, and it means going to the beach.
These are the kind of days we live for in the late winter, sunny with temperatures nudging up into the 50s and 60s, just warm enough to get out onto the water. Know what else loves days like this? Redfish.
That's very pretty fish.
They go by a few names, redfish, red drum, and the smaller ones are called puppy drum. But when winter starts to turn into spring, that's a great time to target reds in places like Rudy Inlet and Virginia Beach.
All right.
Just the solar heat, shallow water, it's warming the mud bottom and the oyster shells. It's just a warmer spot for them and also what they're feeding on.
That's a ghost shrimp.
That's what we call them.
Yeah, for real.
Captain Todd Beck of Not Wishing Custom Charters has been guiding in Virginia Beach for 2 decades. At this time of year, he's chasing schools of puppy drum in the back bays and creeks in the Virginia Beach area.
It's just a puppy drum. Slots 18 to 26. This is probably a couple years old. When they get 28 inches, they'll reach maturity. That's why we release everything over 28, because they're going to spawn. But yeah, pretty fish. I think pound for pound, they're the prettiest fish and the hardest pulling fish in the ocean.
It's almost like stalk and prey. A lot of times it's sight fishing. Find schools of reds in the shallows and then cast to them.
Target them in very shallow water, and these fish are barely under the surface. So it's fairly common this time of year that they're in shallow water trying to warm up. So a good pair of polarized glasses is key to seeing these fish. And it's just a matter of finding the ones that want to take the bait.
Nice little redfish with a puppy drum.
And getting fish to take the baits turned into a year-round pursuit for Virginia saltwater guides like Captain Todd Beck. He says there's always something biting in Virginia waters.
I enjoy it. They say you do something that's fun. It's not really a job. It's stressful. I take it serious. My clients spend good hard money to fish with me. I don't lose sight of that fact, especially in this day and age.
Right. Decent fish, a lot of fun up here in the shallows.
Yep, found one that's warm enough.
Planning a beach vacation for winter? Who knew it would be that much fun?
Beach egg for the win.
All right, folks, breaking barriers and catching big, big fish. That story next when we take an outdoors-bound road trip.
We all have dreams. One pioneer fishing guide is living hers and breaking barriers at the same time. Why don't we go do a little steelhead fishing?
This is a far cry from the waters Krista Claskins grew up fishing in Virginia.
There's another one. They're starting to come up right now.
Back then, it was bluegill on the Occoquan. These days, it's much bigger prey along Lake Erie's Steelhead Alley.
That's a pretty fish right there, Krista.
It's not bad. It's not bad, McGee.
Krista is one of the few women steelhead guides on the Great Lakes. She's the owner and operator of Silver Hen Fly Company.
Your true happiness comes from seeing other people catch fish.
I like to go in corkscrews to get that line going where it needs to go,
Of course, this all begs the question, how does a woman go from the suburbs of Northern Virginia to being a professional fly fishing guide on the tributaries of Lake Erie? Well, Krista says the answer is a journey, one that's part hard work, part luck, and part lifelong obsession.
She grew up fishing the Occoquan, and no one in her family fishes, so she was a little bit of the black sheep. But nothing kept her away from the water. She went to West Virginia University and found fishing again, just regular traditional spin reel fishing. And then someone put a fly rod in her hand, and nothing's been the same ever since.
Watching her on the water, her expertise becomes very evident. She knows the fish she's after.
Beautiful buck. Just beautiful. Powerful.
The techniques.
They're expending a lot of energy by spawning, so when they see food come down, they're going to take a peck at it every once in a while, and that's kind of how we get them.
And back a little bit more.
And on this day, on the Grand River in Ohio, we caught fish, and steelhead aren't easy to catch.
You're good. He's running.
There he goes.
Catching fish proves a point, and that's important because being a woman in a male-dominated industry, well, that can sometimes still present challenges.
We have faults, just like every normal human. It seems that those are magnified at times, but the best we can do is just our own best. We can just be our best selves and the best for our clients.
Beach egg for the win.
And it's all part of breaking barriers and setting new standards, especially since women are the fastest growing segment of the population taking up fly fishing.
My mission overall has always been to get more women anglers involved in fly fishing and teach them and have them grow into that passion and love it the way that I've come to love it. I think that's a sign of the times that more ladies are interested in fly fishing when more of their friends are getting out and learning it and encouraging their other friends to do the same.
Well, they're definitely eating on eggs because they're spawning right there.
And while that's vital, for Krista, it still comes down to passion and sharing that passion for the craft that she loves.
You start to get a little more obsessed with it and try different things, and you try different baits and try different lures, and then you go all artificial. And then from there you go to fly fishing, and then I don't know from here where I'll go. I think I'm just gonna stick with fly fishing for now.
That was a silver hen.
You might ask yourself, what's a silver hen? Well, when steelhead enter a stream going on that spawner run, they come in, they are a bright chrome color. So the big females move on in to spawn their silver, hence the name Silver Hen. Krista thought it was a good name for her business. I agree. You know, I see some crazy things when I'm out there in the woods or on the water, and sometimes I see some pretty crazy video too. We like to show you some of that from time to time. We call it Cool Video.
Cool video.
Where do you cast? The noise. Where do you go?
You are looking at a feeding frenzy on Smith Mountain Lake. That's video fishing guide Weston Hartman got of a school of striped bass driving bait to the surface of Smith Mountain and then smashing them. You see something like that? Well, you throw a lure or jig right into them and you hook up.
Cool video.
It looks like a minnow, then boom, fooled you. That's how some freshwater mussels spread their fertilized eggs, by shooting them out into the water where they can hitch a ride on the gills of a fish. That video comes courtesy of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. That bass was lured in by a minnow-looking appendage on the mussel. Those eggs going to eventually drop off and grow, and the bass, well, it was not hurt by it one bit.
Cool video.
You might not have ever given it much thought, but how do you give a penguin a foot exam? Well, by feeding it fresh fish. This is what it looks like at the Melbourne Zoo in Australia. One handler holds the penguin like it's doing a belly flop and feeds it, while another gently checks out the penguin's feet. We just wanted to share that with you because we thought it was some
cool video.
From a ride on the wild side to a float on the quiet side. We call this the sound of solitude. Today, we take a float down the Yakagani River.
All right, folks, don't know where the time went, but that's all we have time for today. Thanks for being with us here on Outdoors Bound. I am George Noleff. We are coming to you from the beautiful fireplace here at Parkway Brewing in Salem, Virginia. Until next time, tight lines and good hunting, y'all.